Hello and welcome to In the Library with
Marsha?
and Adrian.
Hello. Thanks,
Hello.
thanks for tuning in.
So today we have a pre-recorded interview with Marsha and your guest.
Kate Lambrix. So, yeah, I think you will enjoy this interview. Kate is lovely. She is a retired teacher, used to teach at Bedford School. She does her own introduction, so I won't do it the justice, but she's wonderful. And now she works for the library. She's come full circle. Teacher slash library staff member. Wonderful.
Amazing. What have you been up to?
Not much of anything. How are you guys doing on your eclipse stuff? I thought we could talk a little bit about the eclipse today too. Do you have any glasses left or did you give them all away?
The Bedford branch is out of glasses at this time.
Awesome. Well, there's a few left at Ellis while supplies last, but they might be gone by the time this is airing. But we also will have some available for our eclipse viewing party, which I think you guys are also doing, right? Will you have glasses available for that?
That I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah. So are you working that day? Are you going to be viewing the eclipse from the library? What are your plans?
I am working that day.
I know I was asking you earlier because I know a lot of schools are closing and a lot of motels are booking up. So I did not know if you would be able to be around for that.
Nope, I will be working. So I will watch the eclipse through the ceiling of the Bedford branch.
Through the ceiling or from out. You can walk outside through your viewing party. So yeah,
So,
what else is going on? What's going on with you? Easter will be over too by the time this is up. Do you have any fun Easter traditions or do anything fun for Easter?
um, no, no, we don't.
Egg hunts? Doing any egg hunting around there? What goes on?
We'll we'll probably hide a few eggs for the kids, but that's about it.
All right, awesome.
Are you aware that on April 3rd, which is a Wednesday, the Ellis Library and Reference Center will be having Baby Bop from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m.
I am aware. I love that you're reading about Ellis's programs. Yes, that's awesome.
If that's not your speed or close enough, you can switch to story time for under fives at the Ida branch from 10 to 11 a.m. on the same day.
Yeah, depend. We have all kinds of programs going on at every single branch on every single day.
For example, you might stop into Puzzle in a Day from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Robert A. Vivian branch on April 3rd. Did you know that April 3rd will be a Wednesday?
No, will this be out in time? Oh, baby, just
It'll
you.
be out probably the day before.
Yeah, I know the South Rockwood Library is doing a puzzle competition on Saturday, April 20th from 10 to noon. So you could get your puzzle team together and come compete on who can do the puzzle the quickest. Thinking about having that here at the Ellis Library at a later date to follow. So watch for that as well.
Maybe consider Baby Sign at the Maybe branch on April 4th from 9:30 to 10 a.m. It's an 8-week introduction to the world of sign language with babies.
Nice, baby sign. I'm trying to sign to you, but you can't see it on this avatar.
You
On
know,
but
I'll just say I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes.
I saw
There's,
the sign.
there's a flashback for all of you
Thank you.
older.
Now I will have that song stuck in my head all day now.
Always the right time for Ace and Base.
Is enough enough? On Thursday, April 11th at 7 o'clock, the Civil War Roundtable will be having a program as well. I just read the name Bragg, and you distracted me because now I don't have the flyer in front of me. But so yeah, Bragg, if you want to come and read about that, that's the Civil War Roundtable meeting on Thursday, April 11th at 7 p.m.
We would like to let everyone know that there is chair yoga at the Ida branch that goes on Fridays from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. If you're into chair yoga, maybe consider checking that out. That's not the only yoga the library has. Were you aware of that?
There's, I was aware of chair yoga, but is there, you mean because of baby yoga at South Rockwood Branch? Or what's it called? Mini movers?
Well, we do have the movement and mindfulness coming up on May 6th of the Ellis Library branch. Were you aware of that?
Yes, that's with Miss Stephanie and Miss Lori. They do awesome
Yes.
story times here. This
Yes.
week, which is, next week's last week, is they were doing spring break boredom busters all week. So that was super fun. Have you been having a lot of traffic with spring break around there? How's it been going?
It's been pretty slow actually.
Yeah, your traffic is after school at Bedford more than it is during
Everybody's
spring break.
enjoying their spring breaky.
Yeah. I went to the youth center for a book club, and then I went to do a presentation over their spring break last week because they were on spring break, or this week they were on spring break, and they said, "Can you come do a presentation?" And I thought, "What's spring break like around here?" So I guess it's just the absence of classroom structure. So we did library fun stuff instead. On Tuesday, April 9th, from 5:30 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. is the Special Families Caring Community Story Time. Come join us for that. That's at the Ellis Library and Reference Center.
Changing subjects just a little bit. What have you been reading?
Well, I'm glad you asked. A lot of things. So I just finished Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I got on that train. A lot of people had recommended that would be a good book. I'm not sure if I said that last week or not, but Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is great. I'm currently reading Hunting Time by Jeffrey Deaver, which is part of the Coulter Shaw Tracker series if you tune into Tracker on TV. And if you'd like to join the I Love a Mystery book club on the second Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock a.m., we will be discussing Jeffrey Deaver's Hunting Time. So yeah, what about you? What have you been reading lately?
Let's see. I just finished Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yep. Did you really, like, for the first time, or are you rereading?
No, I read it once a long time ago.
That's what I thought. Okay. How was it? Was it a different perspective this time around?
Yeah, I have a lot less patience for it now. It easily could have been about 100 pages shorter.
That's funny. Well,
Now
TikTok will do that to you.
you can direct your angry emails directly to me, but I will stand by that Dracula is about 100 pages too long. It's not even a TikTok thing because I like older books, but I feel like the plot just didn't move for a large portion of the book.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I feel that way about a lot of things. It's just, we joke all the time that, attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. If you can't do a video in 15 seconds on TikTok, no one's going to be able to focus long enough.
True.
With the goldfish attention spans.
I am reading for the first time Starship Troopers by Heinlein. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Are you enjoying it?
It's better than I thought it would be.
I have not read that, so I didn't know. Is that based off of is that made into like a series? Is it or is it unrelated?
Have you never seen Starship Troopers?
I have seen it, not read it. So is it based off of the book or no?
No, the book is based off of it. It came out in the
I
70s.
see. Like fan fiction. Is it fan fiction to Starship Troopers?
What? It's the book that the movie's based on, and then the animated series that came after the movie.
Yeah, I've not read it. I've only seen it.
It's the movie is what it is. The book is it's got some interesting depth to it, I suppose. Did they make a Starship Troopers too?
I'm not sure. I can't remember that.
They sure did. Starship Troopers 2, 2004.
I didn't see the Starship Troopers 2. I was just thinking that. I was like, I should look that up. So I don't think I've seen the second one.
Well, now I know what I'm watching tonight. I'm looking at the cast of Starship Troopers 2, and I think the only person I actually recognize here would be like Ed Lautner. So, yeah.
So you haven't seen the second one either. You'll have to decide after you finish this book if you want to see the second one.
Starship Troopers 3, there's a whole series.
You've
made a bunch of these.
You've been missing out.
I have direct to DVD. Oh my goodness. That's my favorite genre. Are you a fan of the direct to DVDs?
No, I'm not necessarily. I mean, I think I just miss them more because I'm unaware. I need to brush up on my knowledge of them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you'd be tuned in on this since you recommended to me the Bigfoot Versus series.
I'm hit or miss. Also, I feel like that's kind of what the world is becoming with streaming and Netflix. I feel like it's going right to, like you said, right to release, not just DVD. It's going right to stream. Like, I'm missing all these big picture items. And joining me today is my very special guest,
Kate Lambrix.
Thank you, Kate. Welcome. Thank you for doing this today.
You're welcome.
So we've been friends for a really long time. I wish it was longer, but we've had this wonderful experience. Back when you were teaching at Bedford School, you would bring your students over. We would do tours and get together a little bit over that. So how long were you a teacher?
19 years.
All at Bedford?
No, some I started at the ISD in preschool, and my father was my supervisor.
That's great. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
He started the preschool in 1974, where free and appropriate education were for all, 0 through 5. So,
Okay.
yeah.
How wonderful. So was that part of your was that part of was he your mentor? Was he part of the reason you wanted to go into teaching? Okay.
Him and my mom. My mom was an aide at the ISD, and then my brother worked at the youth center. So it was kind of in our blood.
Yeah, just helping others and teaching.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen you in action. You were a wonderful teacher. We're a wonderful teacher, and so we got to know each other kind of through the school and the Bedford Library, and then book club. You started coming to Books on Tap, which you still go to. So our book club together, and now my favorite thing is now since you're retired, where do you work now?
I work at the library.
Yay! Yes, we love having you as a sub. It's kind of wonderful. I think that's a wonderful crossover for teachers to come and work at the library. It's very closely related. You know a lot of books and readers advisory. You know a lot of the patrons.
You're a reading specialist, so all genres are great.
Yep,
Yes,
you're
definitely.
an avid library user too. What is your favorite book from 2023? Your favorite most recent book?
That is very easy to tell you, and it is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I'm not sure of the author.
Frederick Beckman.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. He wrote Ordinary People and
The Man Called Ove, or
yeah.
made into the movie with Tom
Yes,
Hanks, Man
yes.
Called Otto, which
Yes.
I loved also.
Yes, but that reminded me a lot of myself as kind of a crazy grandma. And like you said, you want to start leaving notes for everybody.
I do.
Yeah.
I loved that book too. We read that together and discussed it. That was
Mhm.
kind of a lot of people's favorites. And I love that too, how it helped her deal with her grief in the loss of her grandma.
Yes.
And then she went back through and got to learn and meet people that she knew along the way. And
And that's kind of what happened when my father died. People would come up to me all the time and tell me stories. And that was such a moving and inspirational thing, because a lot of times the girl in the book did not know what her grandmother did.
right. And she didn't even know those people. Like she
Right.
just would find a name and an address and then show up there. And
Mhm.
so it was a little bit part scavenger hunt, part grief, part crazy grandma. I love the stories how she really felt like her grandma was the only person that understood her and
Yes.
she lost her only ally. So I mean, I had a wonderful relationship with my grandma
Oh, good.
too. So she was my first original pen pal. So we wrote letters, even though we lived next door. We wrote letters to each other. So that book made me think of that too.
Oh, that's cute.
And
That's adorable.
And I knew you were from Ida because we found out we know a lot of people in common from Ida too. Now, were your parents also from the area from Ida?
They were from Coldwater, Michigan. I was
Okay.
born in Coldwater, Michigan, and then they moved here because my dad was a child psychologist. And in the olden days, what happened, they had one psychologist for like 4 schools, like Mason and Dundee and Summerfield and Ida. So he would travel. So we were kind of in the middle, and we lived in Ida, and I have lived in Ida all my life, except for 4 years when I lived in California. And my grandchildren went to Ida, my children went to Ida, and I went to Ida.
Yeah,
So
I'm like
it's a
fourth,
generation.
I'm fourth generation Petersburg. So,
Oh,
Summerfield.
nice.
So I hear that it's the same thing. It's like, everybody's grandparents, all the generations. So I like it. I like living in a small town.
I do too.
I don't really, but you did live in California. I'm learning all this new stuff about you. I didn't know you lived in California. Where at in California?
In Tustin, in the Orange Groves. We
Oh,
lived
yeah.
on a military base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, was that a good experience? How'd you feel about it?
It was great. It was nice to get out of a small town for 4 years, and then you really appreciate the small town when you come back.
Yeah, fun place to visit, but not
Yeah.
to live. That's how I
Yes.
feel about that about a lot of vacation destinations, especially maybe a big city. I
Mhm.
would never, I'm a country girl. I could not live in a city, but I'm too loud for the city. But when I go to the city, I love kind of the excitement and the hustle and bustle, but I'm always ready to come home.
Have
So
you ever gone to New York?
Yeah.
I have not.
yeah, no, it's crazy.
I
Crazy.
don't know. I'm a little afraid.
No, that's what I said. I'd rather just, enjoy it in books.
Yes. I mean, I love at the Bedford Library, they have the bricks, and one of the bricks says it's a magic carpet ride, and that's what it is.
It
I
is.
mean, you can go all places that you want that you've never been. And sometimes you'd like to visit, and sometimes you say, okay, never mind.
Yep. I love it. Kind of gives you a new appreciation for your home.
It does. And in my classroom, it was very nice to read things like The Breadwinner. Kids did not know. They had no idea and no experiences and no prior knowledge to a little girl that had to go and be the breadwinner for her family because the father gets taken away
Yeah.
because he had a PhD. So it was very good to expose my kids to everything that they would never be exposed to.
Yeah. And to learn from mistakes, learn from history, and just to be grateful,
Yes.
really to practice gratitude in a lot of these books and other people's eyes, through other people's eyes.
They were really upset the time that we read The Boy in the
Striped pajamas.
striped pajamas, because they had no idea that, kids were affected so drastically by the Holocaust. And so they were very mad, and they said, why do we have to learn this? I said, so history doesn't repeat themselves.
Yes, for sure. Because you always think that. You think of the soldiers and you think of,
Yes.
older people. You don't think of kids and you don't think of that. And especially
No.
them being friends and, knowing each other through the fence and knowing their hardships. And yeah, you don't think about that.
Or something like The Book Thief.
Oh,
How
yeah.
on earth could you burn books, they said.
Yeah.
So I was so happy to have a library, and they used to say, can we go over and talk to that lady that talks too much?
Yeah.
No, not too much, but
Too
talks
fast.
a lot. Yeah.
And too much. It's
Yeah.
fine. No,
No,
Jen
they
Jen does her impression of me too. So talking with my hands, talking too fast. But yeah.
Oh no, they loved you.
Well, and I always loved having them too. I loved that they're, especially the ones we talked about this just before we started recording, people who hated to read, and yet you could get them the right book. They hate to read because they're so frequently told what to read instead of
Right.
reading something that they enjoy.
Mhm.
So it was always fun to maybe find something that they would enjoy, and that they, you were always gracious. And as long as they were reading anything, you really didn't care. So it was kind of nice to be able to find them the right book too, and, do fun things when they came over.
When I taught fourth grade, an influential author for the boys was Jonathan Rand. They had never read anything, a mystery or gory things or snake things, and now he has Danny Dollars
Oh,
for the easy readers for a lot
even
of,
younger.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and not only that, but sometimes in a special ed room, some people, in fourth grade do read first grade novels.
Right. Mhm.
So those books were good, and I think Jonathan Rand had a huge influence in my classroom.
Yeah, he's been wonderful. He comes, to a lot of schools, and I don't know, have you ever met him or
Oh,
seen him
many
speak?
times.
Yeah, he's definitely a game changer, and I feel the same way. I also love the connection that his books are, from Michigan. And
Yes.
I think that's a personal connection that a lot of kids can make because they've either visited that city or heard of that
Or
city.
maybe wanted to go.
Well, right, or their grandparents have a cabin up there. So I think Jonathan Rand has been game changing as well. So and for boys, as much,
And girls, yeah.
for sure.
Have you been to Chillers?
No.
Oh,
Is that the store you mean or whatever?
It is this
I
store,
can- yeah.
and it's right, you can actually see the Mackinac Bridge, and it's an Indian River, and he goes all out, and he's very, very gracious to the kids, and he gives them posters and cards, and then he introduces you to his dogs. It's just
Yeah.
such a unique opportunity. And his wife, oh my gosh, Boots is so nice. She works at a humane society, and she takes pictures of the animals that are need to be adopted. And together they just make a super duo.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And especially for kids. And, he's definitely turning kids onto reading for sure.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
feel like he's gifted in that area. So he's been a huge game changer when it comes to reading,
I
for
think
sure.
so, too.
And when you mentioned the bricks at Bedford, I was glad you mentioned that too, because those are the memorial bricks. So there are bricks there. Lois, the former librarian that worked there, had bought one in memory of my dad. So like my dad's
Oh
name
my
is on a brick,
gosh.
and you can buy, they are a fundraiser for the Friends. So you can buy them. There's two sizes. There's like the full, I don't know, maybe 12 by 12. And then there's the half brick, and you can get them inscribed. I love that you have read them and know different
Oh,
people's names.
yes.
And so you could get them in honor of someone, in memory of someone. You could put an inspirational quote or your favorite book. So those, if you reach out to the Bedford Library, you too can own a brick that's put in there too. So when you said that, I was like, oh, if you've not seen those, you should definitely check those out, or even buy one if you feel so inspired. But yeah, you can either go online, or you can go through our website at mymcls.com, or go to call the Bedford Library.
What a wonderful memorial.
It really was.
Yeah.
It still is. In the beginning, I think people bought them right away when they were first,
Mhm.
so a lot of them were right away, but they still have plenty of room and plenty of blanks. And I think that's really a great place. And a lot of people usually do, put those in memory.
And what happens to that money?
So it goes to the Friends of the Library.
Oh,
So they're the ones, it's a fundraiser for them, and any money that is donated to the Friends of the Library, whether it's through a brick or one of those baskets or through the book sale room,
Mhm.
all stays locally right there in that branch. So it goes towards, shelving, books, and, anything programs, any programs that they have there. So it stays locally. So
The book room is amazing that you can buy because I used that all one year as an incentive for my kids. And on Fridays, if we went to the library, people that had a great week would get $1 and they would get to buy a book. And
I love
just to
that.
get something in their hand,
Yes,
tangible.
that they could hold and
Yes,
keep and
keep.
was theirs forever.
Yes.
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? You're a game changer. Talk about Jonathan Rand. You are a game changer for those teachers, those lives that you affected. I love to watch you work. You're amazing.
Well, that was my bucket list, is to finally work at the library.
I know, it makes me so happy. I'm so glad. I love it. You kind of have worked a lot of different avenues. We just talked about the bookmobile. I think
love
you're
the
I
bookmobile, Barbara.
know. I knew you would be amazing there too and love it. That's so wonderful. You're getting the best of both worlds, right? You're helping the
Yeah.
library, you're seeing the kids, you're
Kids,
helping out
lots
with
of new
that.
little friends.
Yeah, so the bookmobile is very fun, but there's a lot to the library. We have the 16 branches, 17 if you
Yes.
count bookmobile, 18 if you count the outreach seniors, which you'd also love. I don't know if you've subbed for them yet,
I
but
have not,
you
but
would
I'd
love
like
that
to
opportunity.
because
Mhm.
I love younger children and older children and especially elders.
Yes, and they do. Again, you can contact the library because they have many senior centers and stops that they go to, but in addition, they will also go to your home for homebound.
Oh, nice.
So if you are listening and you're a library patron and you would like a visit from the library, you can contact Tammy from our outreach services, and they will make a visit to you. So that's, a lot of people don't know that they can just get them delivered right to their house through our service.
Oh, nice.
And of course, all our many branches, and they're all a little different. Every building is different. Every, staff member is different, but it's kind of a lot. I realized that once I started working here too, there's a lot involved, from the technology and the behind the scenes and the process and the collections department, and that, before you actually even get that book in someone's hand. So it's a big operation, but it's wonderful and it's fun. And I love helping people too, like you. And I love that my days are different. So I'm so excited that you work for us now. It's wonderful.
Me too.
And-
I think the most exciting thing about Alice is the room that you have all George Custer memorabilia.
Yes, the Custer collection. That is amazing. It's a closed collection. Charmaine is the curator of it. You can make an appointment with her and you can come see it. And it's huge around here. We have the Civil War Roundtable, which is a group that gets together. There's a book club paging through the Civil War, paging through history, all on Civil War based. And people will come here from, they come from out west, they come to author books. People will come. That is such an amazing. Charmaine did join our podcast one time to talk a little bit about how that got started. That Dr. Frost from Monroe was a podiatrist and somebody gave him a boot with a bullet hole through it. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's really where this began. So he had started the collection. We had purchased it from him, and then with the intent to add to it. So she does an amazing job of, adding to the collection and getting programs out there. So that's a huge thing up here over here that I've noticed too, that I'm getting to learn so much myself.
Do you know about how many items there are in it? That's
a really good question. I would need to ask Charmaine. I'm not entirely sure because the library system purchased a portion of its collection, but not even all of it. Some of it went to the museum, some of it went to other people. So, but it's huge, and it's been added to ever since. It was originally housed at the Dorsch Library, but now it's got its own room here.
Yes.
And it is kind of that's a nice little treasure that this branch has too. So, but each branch kind of has its own little, Dr. Dorsch is at the Dorsch Library. That was his house/hospital, and if you go in the basement, there's still, like tubs and different things that were from, so every branch has its own little kind of, niche to it too. So it's very fun and exciting, especially if you love the library like we do. It's great to be a part of. And I know you have other hobbies like golfing. Probably not today since it's windy and snowy.
No. Yeah, golfing I pretend to play.
Pretend to play.
I have 8 grandchildren that I truly adore, that I live for, and most of them are around here. One has graduated from North Carolina State.
Oh, okay.
And she has a big girl job.
Aww.
She's just wonderful.
Your babies are growing
And then
up.
she has a sister that's 5.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is our last of the tail of the 8. So yeah, we're really, really busy with
I
kids
can
and
imagine.
grandkids and soccer and lacrosse and basketball and football, and it's
You're
great.
a super grandma showing up. That's why you can relate to the book so much. You feel like the crazy overprotective grandma that's got their backs. I love it.
And I think that's why I love the library.
Mhm.
The libraries that I work at, a shout out to Ashley
Yay.
at Frenchtown. And I would work almost anywhere, well, probably any place, but it has to fit into my schedule.
Yes.
And that's the nice thing about the library. You can work 4 hours, you can work 2 hours, you can work 9 hours. Really, they are very flexible on when you work.
Yes, and especially as a substitute like that, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to experience all the different branches.
Yes.
And it's also kind of wonderful. It's a lot less pressure than maybe at the same one where you start to get like, you have your own kind of jobs and things there. It's kind of nice to just visit and leave your work
Yes.
there when you leave.
Yes.
And again, the flexibility, we're always looking for people to fill different. So you could work every single day if you wanted to, but again,
No,
you can
thank
work
you.
around your, well, you've already put in your, you're retired, you
I'm
put in your
retired.
hours, but it is nice to have options. Like you said, you can do a lunch coverage or you can do a bookmobile visit and just, call it a day. So I think it's wonderful too. The flexibility is great. We work with some great people. Yes. Shout out to Ashley for sure too. You're like, hi, Barbara. Hi, Ashley. So yeah, we love having you. I love chances to see you, whether it's here or at book clubs or subbing or anything else that you do. Is there anything else you want to share or talk about?
I don't think so. I'm just pleased to be here with you today. I never get to see you.
I know I'm happy. And then I like strong-armed you into this, but I'm so glad. It was so nice to interview you and your whole journey through our friendship and our relationship and working together and now literally working together at the library.
Yes.
So, well, thank you. Thanks so much, Kate. Thank you.
This has been In the Library with
Marsha?
and
Yeah.
Adrian.
Thanks for tuning in.